Hello students, today I am going to start with part 3 of separation of substances. In part 1 we discussed about mixtures in pure substances. In part 2 we discussed why is separation necessary. Now in this part 3 we would be focusing on methods of separation. Okay. So without wasting much time, I would like to start with methods of separation. Now, the principle, on what basis do I separate the mixture or do I separate the substances from mixture? So the principle behind is it that to separate a mixture, we have to use such a property that one constituent of the mixture has and the others do not. Okay, so like in case if I am talking about to understand this statement, the simple thing is कि अगर मुझे एक substance को from the rest of substances से separate करना है तो मुझे ऐसी प्रॉपर्टी चुननी पड़ेगी जो वो सब्सटेंस जिसको मुझे सेपरेट करना है वो उसी के पास है, बाकी किसी के पास नहीं. समझ आए? जैसे अगर मेरे पास एक मिक्सचर है, ठीक है, लेट अस टेक अ सिंपल एग्जांपल so that you can understand. Suppose this is a mixture. This M signifies mixture. Now this mixture have components. A mixture contains many components. Suppose component A, component B, component C. 3 components are required to make this mixture. Okay. Now I want to separate A from this mixture. I require A from this mixture. So what would I be doing is, for separating A from this mixture, I would be using such a method or such a technique which involves that I would be using such a property, such a technique that would be unique to A. ऐसी property लूंगी जो सिर्फ A के पास है, B और C के पास वो नहीं है. So that would be easy for me to separate A from B and C. If you are not getting from this example, let us take another example cited in textbook which says to separate iron fillings from sulfur. Okay, there is a mixture containing iron fillings and is containing sulfur. Okay, so this is a mixture containing what? Iron fillings and sulfur. So in this, from this mixture, I want to separate iron fillings. So I would be using a property which iron filling is having, and that property is not being possessed by sulfur. So one of the property is the magnetic property. Okay, it is difficult to write like this, but you can hear me and you can understand. Okay, that the iron fillings are having what? Magnetic property. On the basis of magnetic property, what we can do is we can separate sulfur from iron. How come? So by this, that iron fillings are attracted by magnet but sulfur is not. So I have to use such a technique, such a property that is possessed by the thing which I have to separate, and that property does not being possessed by any other component present in that mixture. Okay, so this is the principle of methods of separation. So by using the magnet, I could separate the iron fillings from sulfur. So what property did I use? I used that magnet can attract iron but not sulfur. So iron is attracted by magnet while sulfur is not. So using this property, which is possessed only by iron, I can separate iron fillings from sulfur. Okay, so this is the, the basic principle. Now, if I, further proceed, so in methods of separation, we would be discussing about separation of solids from other solids. Suppose I want to separate solids from other solids. That means the mixture totally contains components which are in solid state. So I have to separate solids from solids. So what properties can I use? Like suppose the one was the iron and sulfur. Both iron fillings and sulfur are solid. So I use the magnetic property. This one. Attraction by magnet. So one of that I used. Attraction by magnet. So this was one of the property. I gave the example. Again, on the basis of color, on the basis of size, shape, weight, solubility in liquid. With these properties, you can separate solids from other solids. Like for example, let us take an example of threshing and winnowing. So what do threshing mean? Threshing is an agricultural method in which separation of grains from stalks is done. So here you can see how the person is beating the stalk. Stalk is stem. The stem, majorly these stalks refer to stem. So if I want to separate the grains which are attached to stalk, I can beat the stalks on the ground or on any hard surface, and by this I can separate the grains from stalk. So this process is known as threshing. Another is winnowing. Threshing and winnowing. So winnowing is separation of grains from chaff. Once I have separated grains from stalk, now it's time to separate grain from chaff. Chaff means the outermost part of that grain. In layman language you can say छिलका. छिलके को मुझे grain से separate करना है. So I would be using the process known as winnowing. तो इसमें क्या होगा कि पहले मैं grains को chaff के साथ, मतलब जैसे मैंने ग्रेन्स बिछा के रखे और उस पे मैं कोई भी एनिमल को स्टैम्प कराऊंगी. वो अपने पांव से कुचलेगा ग्रेन्स को और उससे क्या होगा कि छिलका और ग्रेन्स अलग हो जाएंगे. बट फिर भी अभी भी ग्रेन्स और छिलका साथ में ही है. भले वो छिलका ग्रेन से टूट के अलग हो चुका है, बट देन टू ऑल्सो मिक्सचर है छिलका और ग्रेन्स का. If I require only grains and not the chilka or the chaff, what would be I doing? I would be doing, I would be taking the help of air, and by the process of winnowing, I can separate grain from chaff. How come? So see here the female is taking the mixture of grains and chaff. Wind is blowing in this direction. When she make this mixture fall onto the ground, what happens is, since chaff is in lightweight compared to grains, so chaff along with wind blow away, and the seed, because they are heavier, they fall straight down on the ground. So by this way, you can easily separate grains from chaff. So this process is known as winnowing. Which property did you use here? The property used here is weight. On the basis of weight, you separated the grain from chaff. Next is hand picking. So pieces of stones in rice or dal can be separated by hand picking. Undesirable substances are different from food grains in color, shape and size. This hand picking is convenient when the undesirable substances are present in small quantities. Okay, so here this is the process of hand picking. Now what is happening here is we are separating the stones from rice or dal. So which property we are using here is the color, shape and size. Both the solids, the dal and the impurity or the undesirable substance, both are having different color, shape and size. So on the basis of this, okay, this is the another method of separating solids from solids, other solids, है ना? So hand picking, ये कभी convenient रहेगा तभी जब undesirable substance small quantity में है, ठीक है? अगर बहुत सारा है, so it would be time consuming and it would be worthless. Okay, so hand picking is convenient when the undesirable substances are present in small quantities. Next is sieving. Sieving is another method used for separating solids from other solids. Like constituents of a mixture have particles of different sizes. So this is basically focusing on different sizes. A sieve with fine pores is used to separate undesirable substances in flour, while with big pores is used at construction site. So here is the image of sieve. This sieve is used as at construction site. As you can see, the image is depicting the site, construction site. Here they are using the sieve which is having big pores. ठीक है, वो जाली होती है, उसमें पोर्स होते हैं, खड्डे होते हैं, वो खड्डे जो है, वो जो पोर्स हैं वो बहुत बड़े. क्यों? तो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द अनडिजायरेबल सब्सटेंस प्रेजेंट इन द मिक्सचर. यहाँ पे सैंड में बहुत बड़े बड़े पत्थर हैं, है ना? So for separating this we require the sieve which is having big pores. Now next is separating insoluble solids from liquids. What we discussed till now is separating solids from other solids, and the major properties are color, size, shape, weight, attraction by magnet or solubility in liquid. So from these properties we looked into few properties with examples like attraction by magnet. How can we separate iron fillings from sulfur? So by using a magnet I can attract the iron, and by using this property I can separate iron fillings from the mixture of iron fillings and sulfur. Similarly in threshing and winnowing I am basically requiring the property of weight. Like shafts are lighter than grains, therefore while with the help of the air, the force of air, I can separate the light weighted shaft from the heavy grains. Because of their more weight compared to shaft, they directly fall straight down on the ground and are not much affected with the force of wind. Similarly, in hand picking, we use the properties of color, shape and size. In sieving, we majorly focused on different sizes. So, आटा छानने के लिए भी, for sieving flour, we require fine pores. So, on the basis of our requirement, the size of the pore in sieve is decided. Next is separating insoluble solids from liquids. Insoluble, that means the substances or the solids which are not soluble in liquid. वो घुलते नहीं है, they do not dissolve in liquid. तो ऐसे substance को हम liquids में से कैसे separate करेंगे? So one of the processes sedimentation and decantation. Okay. So insoluble substances which are heavier than water. So for that substances which are heavier than water, we can use this technique, that is sedimentation and decantation. What is sedimentation? So sedimentation is the process in which heavier particles of a insoluble solid in a liquid settle down. Okay, so in case if I am talking about sedimentation, what is the sedimentation? It is the process in which heavier particles of an insoluble solid in a liquid settle down. The particles that settle down are referred as sediment. Okay, now there is another process which is known as decantation. So decantation is the process of pouring out the liquid without disturbing the sediment. We looked into few images here and understand the process of sedimentation and decantation. As here you can observe, there is a mixture of sand and water. If you want to separate sand from water, what you would be doing is, you would be allowing the mixture to stand for a while. What would happen is, after some time, the sand particles being heavier than water, they would settle down because they are heavier. So the substance which settle down is basically referred as sediment. Here in this mixture of water and sand, sand is the sediment. Now we have made settle the sand, the sediment. That means we have done the process of sedimentation. Now we proceed down to decantation, which would ultimately lead to the separation of sand from water. So in decantation, what we do is we are pouring out the liquid without disturbing the sediment, धीरे से, ताकि सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर का पानी अलग हो जाए और सैंड जो है वो अलग हो जाए. So this is sedimentation and decantation. Another for separating insoluble solids from liquid is filtration. So for filtration we require strainer. Okay, so if you are able to recall, in part 2 also, okay, we discussed how can we obtain or how can we remove undesirable constituents from the mixture. So for that method, one of the example was using strainer. Another, you can use filter paper for separating mud from water. So filters with a porous pot made up of ceramic, okay, these are used to remove solid impurities from drinking water. So these filters are fitted inside our ROs or aquaguards, and these filters are having porous pot. That means that pot is having pores, and these pores are responsible for separating solid impurities from drinking water. So a special type of light called ultraviolet light is used to kill germs in RO. Inside RO or aquaguards, apart from this, filters which are made up of ceramic, which are used to separate solid impurities from drinking water, there are some germs also present in the water. So these are separated with the help of ultraviolet light. Okay, next is loading. It is a method of speeding up sedimentation by making the particles heavier. If you recall, just now we discussed sedimentation. For what types of substances do we involve sedimentation process? Is the substances which are insoluble and which are heavier than water. So we can use the process sedimentation. And if I want to increase the speed of sedimentation, because I am not having the time to wait for a while so that the sediment settle down. So in that case, I would be using the technique loading, which is speeding up of sedimentation simply. So for loading or for speeding up sedimentation, I would be using alum. This alum is a chemical substance which is also referred as in our layman language Fitkari. So this Fitkari or alum is used to load suspended clay particles in water. So in water, if you are having mud particles or clay particles, so these are not soluble in water. So these insoluble substances can be separated by sedimentation. But if I want to speed up the sedimentation, then I would be using this chemical substance alum to load, that means to make these particles more heavier, and as a result their settling process would enhance. The speed of settling would increase, and as a result sedimentation would occur easily and at a fast rate. Similarly, rainwater also do loading of dust particles which are suspended in air. So in air there are many dust particles, so when rain falls, so this rainwater along with dust particles, carries dust particles. So when you feel, if you have felt that when after a very good rain shower, you observe that the atmosphere is much better and much clear as compared to before the rain shower. Why? Because this rainwater is loading the dust particle. As a result, the dust particle become heavier and settles on the ground. They are not now no more present in the air. So this rainwater is also responsible for loading. So this is the filtration in which you use filter paper. As I said here, we use filter paper also for filtration. So this is the image of filter paper. This is how I can fold. These are the procedures. And after folding in these steps, I place the filter paper inside the funnel. And suppose this is a mixture of mud water, that means sand and water, or clay water. So when I would be pouring this clay water into filter, what would be happening is the mud would remain or collected by the filter paper, and through the pores present in the filter paper, waters come down into this conical flask. So this is how, by using filter paper, I can separate mud or sand or any insoluble solid substance present in water or any other liquid. This is the diagrammatic representation how alum is used to separate sand or mud from water. So when you insert the alum would attack or attach to the solid particles or mud particles present in water. As a result, the mud particles would become heavy and settle down. So these clay particles would settle down, and as a result, you would obtain clear water on the top. And by process of decantation, you can again separate the clear water from clay particles. So loading is, a type of sedimentation in which it is not sedimentation but is speeding the rate of sedimentation in loading. Now applications of methods of separation. Now see, we looked into separation differently. But in case if I am talking about how we are using these methods as a collective, है ना, अभी हमने कुछ methods देखे, लेकिन वो methods अगर मैं collectively कहीं एक जगह use कर सकती हूँ, तो उसका एक example है obtaining drinking water. So here you see, from reservoir, from river or lake, our water wants to reach to our home. So before, from water directly doesn't reach to our home from reservoir. It undergoes many methods of separation to remove impurities, and then it reaches to our home. So first, water which is coming from reservoir moves to the sedimentation tank. Now you make assumption. We have understand about sedimentation. What would be going inside this tank? This tank would allow solids to settle. If there is some mud particles or the insoluble solids which are heavier than water, they settle down in the tank, and then the clear water is sucked to another loading tank. In this loading tank, again, if there is some impurities left, we can use some alum or any other chemical substance to fasten up the sedimentation reaction, and ultimately the sediment would settle down. We would be taking the clean water into a filtration tank. This filtration tank, usually in filtration we would be using filter paper, or in aquaguards we use certain filters which are made up of ceramic. But for cleaning water, here in this case we would be using a filtration tank in which the filter is made up of fine sand, gravel and coarse gravel. So this would be acting as a filter. तो जो भी impurities है, जब water इससे pass होगा तो जो भी बड़ी बड़ी चीजें हैं वो ऊपर ही रह जाएंगी, और वाटर फिर पास होके it then moves down to chlorination tank. Here what happens, the water is treated with chlorine. Chlorine is added into water, and this chlorine is responsible to kill the bacteria. So this is how by sedimentation, by loading, by filtration, we can separate impurities which is present in the water that is coming from reservoir, and this water ultimately reaches to our home. So this is an application. We learned methods of separation, and collectively we can use like this. Now separating soluble solids from liquids. Till now we have discussed separating solids from solids, separating insoluble solids from solid. Now what if the solid is soluble in water or any liquid? Okay, so how or what method we can use? So first method is evaporation. Like suppose if I add salt to water, the salt would dissolve in water. So how can I separate the salt from water? By evaporation. Okay, what happens is when I heat the mixture of salt and water, water would evaporate and the salt would left on the utensil in which you are heating, or the apparatus which you are taking, in which the mixture is present. So by evaporation you can separate salt from water. This is how we obtain salt at a large scale. These are the seabeds, okay? So these are, you can say shallow ponds, and from shallow ponds, these are, human made, and they are trying to evaporate water with the help of the heat of the sun. Once the water is evaporated, salt is separated. Next is distillation. So this is a apparatus required for distillation. This distillation is basically used to obtain pure liquid from a solution. So let us see how this works. Okay. So in distillation, what happens is the solution is heated. Here we have taken a solution which is the mixture of soluble solids and liquids. So a special apparatus. This is the apparatus. This apparatus is used to get distilled water. Okay, if I want to use extreme pure water for research work and in chemistry laboratories, then I would require distilled water. So how can I obtain? I can obtain the distilled water that is very much free from impurities by using this apparatus which you can see on the figure on the screen. So water containing dissolved impurities is heated. So this is the water. This is not pure enough. This is impure. So if we want to make pure, we would be using this apparatus. So when I would be heating this, what happens is the water evaporates and it moves down to this. This is the condenser. This condenser is known as Liebig's condenser. Now what happens is condenser, that means this would doing the process of condensation, that means converting gas into liquid. So when I would be heating the solution, the water would be converted into gas or steam. The steam passes into the condenser, and see here, this is the pipe through which the gas would be passing. Surrounding this pipe or the glass tube, there is an enclosure which is containing cold water. So from one of the outlet, cold water is added. This cold water is responsible for cooling the steam, for condensation. So this cool water ultimately converts this steam into liquid, gas into liquid. And this liquid then comes down to the flask. So the cold water is made to flow through the condenser. As a result, the gas converts into the liquid, and this liquid then is collected into the flask. So this is how we can separate water from the impurities by using the Liebig's condenser and this apparatus. Next is separating liquids. So we use separating funnel, and this is basically, separating funnel is an apparatus, and this is basically used for separating two immiscible liquids. That means the liquids which are not soluble with each other. Like for example, we take the example of oil and water. If you mix oil in water, oil won't be dissolving in water. So those liquids which are not dissolving with each other, for that we can use separating funnel. So if I want to separate oil from water, I would be pouring this mixture into separating funnel. Then at bottom, I would be opening the tap. I would be allowing the water to drain, and as the oil comes near to this end, I would be quickly closing the tap. This is how I would be separating the oil from water. So similarly, you can take any other mixture of two immiscible liquids, and by using separating funnel, you can separate two immiscible liquids. Now separation using more than one method. Like separate a mixture containing salt and sand. So if you want to separate this mixture, you would be requiring more than one method to separate this mixture. Like if I want to separate salt and sand, what you would be doing is, you would be using two methods. First is filtration and another one is evaporation. Now how? So you would be first adding water to the sand and salt mixture. So what happens is, the salt would dissolve in water. Sand is insoluble in water. Okay. So by adding water, you are dissolving salt in water, and you are separating the sand from the salt solution using filter paper. That is, by filtration, you are separating sand from salt solution. So you separated the sand, now remains salt. So by evaporation, by evaporating the salt mixture, you are evaporating the water, and ultimately you would get salt. So as a filtrate, you get sand, and after evaporating water, the left white portion is the salt. So this is how you can separate salt and sand by using two methods, filtration and evaporation. Okay, next is separate a mixture containing pebbles, sand and salt. So how would you be doing this? You think first, you pause the video, you think, okay, and then you check with me whether you have followed the methods which would be required here. So here you would be requiring three methods. First, you would be doing sieving. So sieving would separate pebbles from sand and salt. Then again you would be left with sand and salt mixture. And in the early procedure, in the early example, I made you learnt about how you can separate the sand and salt mixture. That is by filtration and then evaporation. So by following these three methods, you can separate pebbles, sand and salt from this mixture. Okay. So this was all about, how separation can be done using different methods in case of solids from other solids, insoluble solids from liquids, okay, and from immiscible, if we talk about immiscible liquids, how they can be separated, okay. And we saw last this few interesting examples from which in these kind of mixtures we require more than one method to separate. So this was all about methods of separation. In next lecture, we would be observing few topic regarding solubility. So before ending the lecture, I would be ending with a fact that, as I say, that for separating oil and water, I would be using separating funnel. When I would be using the separating funnel, when I am having two immiscible liquids, that means the two liquids cannot dissolve with each other. So here I have given an image in which you are adding oil and water in one. In one you are adding oil and detergent. In one you are adding water and detergent. Okay. So I want to make you aware about the fact that when a detergent is added to a mixture of oil and water, it causes oil to form very small droplets. And when you stir this mixture, that means when you stir the mixture of oil, water and detergent, it leads to a formation of milky white emulsion. And this would be very difficult for you to separate. Oil and water you can separate easily. But in this oil and water mixture, if you add detergent, what happens is, after adding detergent, this detergent leads to the formation of tiny droplets of oil, and that makes very difficult for you to separate as it forms a milky emulsion like solution. Okay, and it is very difficult to separate out now oil from water. So with this fact, I would end this video lecture.